Teachers are warning they will have to resort to wearing stab vests. Yes, you heard me right. To deal with the rise in violence inside Britain's schools.
Well, the General Secretary of the Teachers' Union said disruption from pupils was becoming a serious problem.
Joining us is Executive Head Teacher at St Thomas's Apostles College's Serge Cefai. Serge, thank you very much indeed. I don't know about Nick, but this is just a story that just fills me full of complete and utter fear. I mean, not only teachers to consider, but pupils. But let's talk from a teacher's point of view. What the hell is the world coming to, Serge?
Well, scaremongering nonsense. That's what you're hearing now. I don't know where you get this from, which parent would send their child to a school where the teachers are wearing stab vests? Utter nonsense. I can't believe this is an issue. Again, it seems to me every time I hear something new about schools, someone seems to be trying to sabotage your education system. Whoever's talking needs to get into good schools. And if indeed a teacher has to wear a stab vest, that school needs to be closed forthwith.
So you think that this is a story that's been blown out of proportion, that the fact that, you know, perhaps a teacher has been spoken to and they're saying they're considering stab-proof vests, and that's turned into kind of people presuming that that's going to happen. But is it not the case that violence in schools is increasing, physical violence? I mean, only last week we saw a stabbing in Croydon on a school bus. It must be transferring also to within the school buildings.
No, it doesn't need to. I mean, again, the key factor is that happened outside school, and there's a limit to what schools can try and control outside. Most good schools will have patrols before school and after school. I think schools are one of the safest places for children to be. And again, from what I've read, and it says union says, well, as far as I'm concerned, you know, I don't know what the unions are doing. They've been on strike and trying to tell head teachers like me that we're going on strike because we're worried about recruitment. That's the real problem as far as I'm concerned. So telling everyone it's a terrible job. We now have this coming from unions saying, you know, we need to wear stab vests. How does this actually improve, you know, the thought of people coming into teaching, which is one of the best jobs ever? Maybe I'm an old dinosaur. I've been teaching 44 years. And as a head teacher, I've got 3 red lines, you know, drugs, knives, and if any child touches any of my staff, they're not coming back into my schools. Most good schools and sensible head teachers have those red lines, but I repeat, the safest place for our children is in schools, and that's the way it should remain.
Serge, I've spoken to you many times over the last couple of years, and I appreciate you being part of Talk today. And far be it from Nick and I, we're just responding to a story. You said it's out by the unions. There was, of course, that teacher stabbed in Tewkesbury last week. The thing is, whenever you talk about anything like this, I understand where you're coming from because it's your passion, it's your vocation, you're about teaching kids and whatever. But you did say, if any child, right, attacked one of my teachers, maybe this is a soft union, maybe it's a symptomatic of what's happened to our society. But you do hear more and more, and it wouldn't surprise me if this did have an impact on people wanting to be a teacher, right?
Well, that's what worries me. But, I mean, there was an incident about 18 months ago where a 15-year-old, I think, did indeed stab a teacher. But I think you'd be hard-pressed to find another example. And to say that, again, I'm not sure where people are getting the evidence that violence is increasing in schools. The only evidence I have, bearing in mind, you know, how we shut the schools during COVID, is that the safest place, I know I've said it several times, the safest place and the best place for children to be is in schools. And the biggest problem that most head teachers face is recruitment, getting decent teachers in front of our kids, and let's bringing them up properly.
Serge, what happens in your school then when a child gets excluded? Do they get sent to a different school? Are they at home? Do you have a programme to try and reintegrate them back into the school? What happens?
Oh, there's lots of different things going on. Because I'm involved in 2 schools, each school will have a behavioural unit for disruption or, you know, whatever it might be. Really serious stuff. There's 2 ways to go, really. It depends. Each incident needs to be taken on its own merits. But if it's basically a good kid that's made a big mistake, I'd entertain a managed move with another school. If it's a child who has, you know, done something really serious, then I'm afraid it's expulsion, permanent exclusion. And
Serge,
then you have
can I
another
jump in?
problem.
Because I haven't got an awful lot of time and I want you to take very quickly before we go to the news. Yesterday, Gillian Keegan, the Education Secretary, wants to ban mobile phones in schools. You've done it for 44 years. Your response, please, as a head teacher.
She's about 10 years out of date. Any half-decent head teacher would have banned them a long, long, long time ago. They're not allowed in my schools. And I can tell you now, in most good schools, they're absolutely not allowed. Collect them in the morning, give them back in the afternoon, end of conversation. And if they're found with them, confiscate them and give them back to the owners, because it's the parents that are paying the fees, not the kids.
Serge, you're a legend. Thank you so much for being on.